Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and adoption of the agenda for this evening. Do I have a mover?
Moved by Councilor Costello.
Seconded by?
I'll second that, Curtis.
Councilor Joy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Moynihan carried. And the next part of the agenda this evening is the confirmation of the mayor. Just to let everyone know, I'm not seeking the seat of mayor. To all the residents of the town of Holyrood, as your deputy mayor, I want to ensure all residents that my loyalty and commitment to this town and the residents remains a priority for me. Today, I'm asking my council colleagues to elect from within our team a mayor to lead us through the remaining months of our term. Many of you who know me well recognize the struggle I am experiencing with the grieving process of the one man in my life who I shared every aspect of being. I owe it to him and to myself to find a way to adjust my new normal. I will continue to work with my council colleagues to serve the residents. So with that being said, I now will call upon Councillor Joy to make a nominate there. Go ahead, Councillor Joy.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Curtis. It is my pleasure to nominate my council colleague, Councillor Kevin Costello, for the position of mayor. Kevin brings a wealth of education as an engineer and the respect of the entire Council of Holyrood for his common sense approach to municipal issues and his respect for all members of council and for the democratic process. I'm delighted to be in the position to make this motion. Therefore, be it resolved that Councillor Kevin Costello be elected as mayor of the town of Holyrood for the remainder of this term of office. So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Joy. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Ganny, it is my honor to second this motion for Councillor Kevin Costello.
Thank you. Councillor Costello, do you accept?
Yes, sir. I accept the nomination.
Thank you. I now call on the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Those against?
Aye.
Motion carried. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Mayor Costello. I think you'll do a great job, and I think we have a great team to work with. And now I ask if anyone else would like to say congratulations around the table to Mayor Costello now.
I'd like to take the opportunity to congratulate Mayor Kevin Costello on accepting this very important role in the town of Holyrood. I have great faith that Kevin will do a great job with the support of all of council and staff. So congratulations, Kevin, and we're behind you 100%.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to make another comment when others have. Curtis, please, or Deputy Mayor.
Is there anyone else who'd like to comment?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to congratulate Kevin. I'm sure he'll do a great job, and we're behind him 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor King. Anyone else? All right, Councillor Joy, did you want to say another few words?
Yeah, I had some comments to make there, a little bit of background within council. Shouldn't take too long. As I indicated, it certainly was a pleasure to nominate and now to move the motion to elect Kevin as the new mayor of our town. Kevin has shown a key interest and strong commitment to council and our town during his first term. Working with Kevin, along with Gary and Robert as members of the Infrastructure and Public Works Committee, he has made a large, major contribution in development of new initiatives toward new and improved infrastructure projects in the improvement of the overall quality of service in our town. As chair of the Planning and Development Committee, he has taken a very professional approach while working on new development interests in our town. He represents our town as a member of the Northeast Avalon Joint Councils, a group that meet regularly to discuss regional and common interests of all towns. Being mayor is much about providing leadership and guidance and working closely and cooperatively with council, staff, and the community at large in the overall interest of our town. Mayor is the spokesperson for council and council decisions, which is subject to direction and control of council and must abide by any decisions of council. I have every confidence that Kevin has the desired qualities and certainly the ability to be mayor of our wonderful town at this point in time, where so many positive things are happening. Thanks. That's finished. Am I finished?
Thank you, Councillor Joy. Now we'll do the swearing in for Mayor Costello. So now I'll call up on the CAO and Mayor Costello to perform the next part.
We'll have Mayor Costello begin his oath of office, please.
Okay. I, Kevin Costello, do solemnly affirm that I am fully qualified for the role of office of the mayor in the municipality of Holyrood, to which I have been elected/appointed. I will faithfully, to the best of my ability, perform the duties and responsibilities of my office and will not allow any indirect or direct monetary or personal or private interest to influence my conduct or affect my public duties. I will disclose any personal direct or indirect monetary interest that I have in a matter before the council and will not participate in the discussion or vote on any such matter. I will file an annual conflict of interest disclosure statement.
As declared before me, Gary Corbett, Chief Administrative Officer / Town Clerk at Holyrood, this 9th day of February 2021. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mayor Costello. And now for the rest of the meeting, for the next part of the meeting, Mayor Costello will take over the agenda. But before I pass it over to Mayor Costello, just for information purposes here tonight, I will have to leave the meeting a little bit early for a medical appointment. So I'll let everyone know when I got to go. But I just wanted to let you know that I will have to leave probably before the meeting is over. So, Mayor Costello, you can take the meeting from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Before we get going with the rest of the meeting, I'd just like to make a few comments before we get into the agenda. So obviously this council was elected back in September of 2017. And on election day, if someone had to ask me where I saw myself in February 9th of 2021, I probably would have said, I'd like to be on a sunny beach in Florida or snowmobiling on the west coast of the province. But instead, today I found myself accepting the position of the mayor of the town of Holyrood while sitting on a Zoom meeting in my living room wearing jeans and a polo shirt. But with that being said, this is just a simple example of how fast our world evolves and a testament to how fast we can change with it. So on a more serious note, though, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my family, friends, and council colleagues, along with the citizens of Holyrood, for their encouragement over the past few days as I've been making the decision to take on the role of mayor of this wonderful town. My thought process has gone quite deep. In my decision-making process, I referred to the Municipal Council Handbook to reflect on the responsibilities of mayor, councillors, and staff. My reason for doing this was to ensure I felt comfortable with my abilities to adequately carry out the required duties that I felt I had, and I felt I had the ability to lead this town towards great things. During my deep dive into the municipal handbook, I was able to find the duties of the mayor. As a summary, the duties and responsibility of the mayor is to be a council presiding officer and to be familiar with the rules and proceedings and how to apply them consistently and fairly, vote like other councilors, but only speak to a subject by leaving the chair, ensure municipal regulations are enforced, be subject to the direction and control of council and abide by council's decisions, call meetings, and also sign checks, financial statements, and other documentation. The mayor also has another set of responsibilities, and that is to be leader of this community. Those responsibilities are as follows: act as the town's official head, attend ceremonies and social functions to advance and promote council's objectives, promote civil awareness and encourage citizens to become aware of council activities, speak publicly on behalf of council. The above list of roles and responsibilities is quite comprehensive, but I feel I am up to the challenge. I will make a commitment to my team and the residents of Holyrood to put my best effort forward each and every day as our town continues to grow and prosper. I cannot guarantee that I will not make mistakes along the way, as I am only human, but I want you all to know it will not be intentional. I am hopeful that my leadership style of being open and honest will enhance our ability to allow Holyrood to be a great place to live, learn, work, play, and invest. I am up for the challenge, and I hope my approach is acceptable to the team and residents. In closing, I would like to take one more opportunity to thank former Mayor Gooby for his 20 plus years of dedicated service to the wonderful town we call home. From the entire team, Gary, we wish you well in your future endeavors. So again, I'd just like to thank my council colleagues for the very kind remarks tonight, and also for your overall confidence in my ability to lead our team over the next several months until our term is over. So with that, we'll move right on into the agenda. So item number 3 is the adoption of the minutes. So you do have the minutes there before you. They were sent out prior to the meeting by Krista. So I'd ask if there are any errors or omissions from the meeting minutes. Okay, so if no errors or omissions, we'll adopt the minutes as presented. We'll move on to item number 4, business arising. Minutes from January 19th, 2021. Any business arising from the minutes? Okay, no business arising. Next, item number 5, correspondence. So correspondence is Northeast Avalon Joint Council draft meeting minutes. So those meeting minutes were tabled. Mr. Corbett, CAO, do you want to make any comments on those minutes, or are we just going to leave them tabled as presented?
No, I'll just leave them tabled as presented because they're draft minutes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, item number 6, planning and development. So I'll hand this over to Councillor Gani, and she'll run through the 2 items from planning and development. It's the permit listing, and also bring us up to date on our municipal plan review. So over to you, Councillor Gani.
Thank you, Mayor Costello. So our first item is a motion. Be it resolved to table and approve the permit listing. One permit was issued on January 25th, 2021. Permit number 01-0316-21. So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councillor Gani, seconded by Councillor King. Comments? Okay, so it's again, this table of permit listings was sent out prior to the meeting. These permits cover general things such as decks, fences, patios, sheds. So that's the need for the motion here. So if there's no more comments, we'll call a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, those against? Okay, motion is carried. Okay, Councillor Ganny, can you please update us on the municipal plan review? Thank you.
Certainly. The Plan Tech has undertaken a review of our municipal plan for 2021 to 2031, and the following have been updated and completed: General Development Regulations, Schedule A definitions, Schedule B classifications of land and buildings, Schedule D parking regulations, and Schedule C land use zones is approximately 50% updated and completed. The land use survey update and was completed with previous zone amendments brought forward. Base mapping is updated and zone requests are completed. And the next steps will include council and staff identifying stakeholders and to review land use issues, review the vision statement, determine method of public survey administration, and determine how best to proceed with public consultations with pandemic protocols in place to maximize community input. A date will be determined for public consultation meetings and communicated to residents and stakeholders.
Okay, thank you for the update, Councillor Ganny. So obviously the municipal plan is something we're required to revise on a regular basis. So again, the work has been started, and we will be looking for public input into the plan going forward. So be on the lookout for that. Is that it from Planning and Development, Councillor Ganny?
It is, thank you.
Okay, so moving right along, infrastructure and public works. So Councillor Joy, are you able to run us through your update for infrastructure and public works, please?
Yes, thank you to our new mayor. Yes, I'll deal with the update at first. That's item A there. So we held our second committee meeting for the new year on Monday, February the 1st. Kevin, being the new mayor, Gary, Robert, and myself took part in that meeting. We continue to deal with a number of items like infrastructure for improvements in service overall. Some of the items discussed at that meeting were planned testing capacity of our deep wells, the status of engineering for our new water tank, the upgrade and repair of road infrastructure. Two of those that were discussing are Kennedy's Lane, a couple of sections on Kennedy's Lane, and one on Northside Road by Maloney's Lane that probably a lot are familiar with. There's a drop in the road there. Both of those involve the replacements of larger culverts, which are very expensive. We're working through the cost side, finance side, and we hope to get something further more definitive at our next meeting, which will be in about 3 weeks' time. Also discussed was the status of larger ongoing projects, some waiting on approval of municipal affairs and others on engineering consulting work. The minutes, I should note, that were attached to the agenda. Few more points to note. At our last public meeting, Kevin, yourself, and Mr. Mayor talked about the development of an asset management program and policy. We believe making a motion that shortly. That Robert, our Director of Public Works, has been working on as part of a more proactive approach in planning infrastructure improvements and maintenance. Just to extend on that, it's really part of it now, our new planning approach. So 2 weeks ago, we had a leak develop on a water system on the main road in the area of the post office. We have always done this repair work in daylight hours, but this means and has meant an interruption of water to residents and business in the busier time, which is obviously a major inconvenience. So to try a different approach, it was decided to do the repair work at night or early morning. In the early morning, there was extra cost involved with equipment required, such as portable lighting, but it went well and was very successful. There were some other factors involved in other locations with the water supply, which were corrected. The tank now is operating as normal at full capacity. So that's an update in 7A there. So I'll move on to the motion in 7B, asset management policy. be it resolved to approve the asset management policy as presented.
I have a mover for that motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by
Roger Myatt.
Councillor Myatt. Discussion on this one. Anybody?
Yeah, I'd like to make a few comments just on the general policy itself.
Okay, go ahead.
So the purpose, the purpose of this is the town of Holyrood is committed to implementing an asset management program for a long-term, consistent framework for service delivery and infrastructure planning. It provides for a transparent, sustainable, and accountable process to demonstrate the legitimacy of decision-making, which combines the strategic plan, budget, service levels, and risk. The note on the strategic alignment. The principles in this asset management program and our asset management planning will align with the vision and values of Holyrood, which has built on the strategic direction plan for the future of Holyrood. And the scope, this policy applies to all assets owned and managed by the town of Holyrood, excluding those owned by others such as utility poles, eventually maintain roads and bridges and HMPC. So that's just a general, on the purpose and the alignment and the scope. So that's my comment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Joy. Anybody else have any comments to make on this motion? Okay, no, Councillor Joy, I definitely agree with you. This is a very worthwhile policy we're implementing here. As we've said before, Robert has done a phenomenal amount of work on it, and it'll definitely leave us in much better shape, specifically with our water system. And I know he just started working on our sewer system as well. So right now, once we get it mapped out, what we actually have in the ground, it will form our basis of planning for future capital works projects. So if there's no more comments, we'll move to a vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And all those against? Motion is carried. Item C, Councillor Joy.
Okay, so item C is the real allocation of multi-year capital works, abbreviated MYCW 2017-2020. There's a fair bit of detail here on this, but it's required through municipal affairs. So I'll move into the motion. Be it resolved, the town of Holyrood accept the 2017-2020 Schedule A amendment identifying the reallocation of funds within the existing multi-year capital works 2017-2020 agreement. This resolution recognizes the cost-sharing funding for projects as outlined in the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Project Approval Letter dated January the 20th, 2021. Projects will be funded at a cost-sharing ratio as outlined on the department's website for eligible costs net of HST/GST rebates. All projects are required to be completed with fund change for reimbursement by March 24, 2024. The total project value of all projects is $1,244,154, including HST, GST, with the town of Holyrood sharing totally $220,182. So moved.
So moved by Councillor Joy, seconded by
Deputy Mayor.
Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. So let's have some discussion on this one. Anybody want to start off?
Yeah, I'll make a comment there, Mr. Mayor. This is great for the town of Holyrood, as you can see. As I always said, any of these projects where we're getting cost sharing and money, for $1,244,154, including HST, and then to look at the town share of only $220,000, $182. You know what I mean? With this cost sharing and ratio and being able to cost share with the government, you know what I mean, it gives us a lot of room to do more projects in Holyrood without getting the money from our own bank or getting loans. So, I mean, it's great stuff for Holyrood. As I always said, you know what I mean, any these jobs that we do and we're getting cost shared and we don't have to take on 100% of the cost on the back on taxpayers. I mean, it's great stuff. There's no doubt. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments, Deputy Mayor. Anybody else like to make a comment on this motion? Okay, if there's no more comments, we'll move it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And anybody against? Okay, so motion is carried. Item D, Councillor Joy, please.
Okay, so this is the last item there now. Item D is the reallocation of multi-year capital works, 2014-2017. Motion as follows. Be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood accept the 2014-2017 Schedule A amendment, identifying the reallocation of funds within the existing multi-year capital works 2014-2017 agreement. This resolution recognizes the cost-sharing funding for projects as outlined in the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Project Approval Letter dated January 20, 2021. Projects will be funded at a cost-sharing ratio as outlined on the Department's website for eligible costs net of HST, GST rebates. All projects are required to be completed with final claims for reimbursement by March 24, 2024. The total project value of all projects is $1,182,812, including HST, GST, with the Town of Holyrood sharing totally $212,446. So I'd like to move that motion.
So motion is moved by Councillor Joy. Could I have a seconder, please?
Deputy
Kim
Mayor.
Danny.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor. Let's have some discussion on this one if anybody wants to make a comment.
I'll just comment there that this is the Deputy Mayor, you know what I mean? As you know what I mean, that's two great motions there tonight, one just before and another one there. Like I said, you know what I mean, cost sharing is great, and you know what I mean, we got some great work identified in Holyrood through these projects, and it's going to be great to see it done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more comments?
Yeah, just a quick comment about good, Mr. Chair. I'm very pleased, with the funding that has been provided and the projects that we've done in various areas, but key areas of water and sewer and water over the last few years, with the support, obviously, of staff, Gary and Marjorie, we were able to to get a large amount of funding and key areas of servicing. So very pleased that we continue to do this and to improve the servicing overall in key areas. And I mentioned there earlier about the discussion that we had at our last committee meeting, and one of the building of a new tank. The value and associated equipment, which was in the area of $1.6 million. So it speaks for itself. Everybody's working hard to improve the servicing, and again, the good things happening in Holyrood in the infrastructure and public works area. So that's my comment, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Joy, and I do share much of the same sentiments there for sure. Providing essential services is definitely where we need to focus our efforts at, and big projects like this with water tank upgrades and whatnot definitely puts us well on the way to being able to ensure solid essential services well into the future. So with that being said, we'll move it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And anybody against? Motion is carried. Item 8 is the recreation and community events update. Is that coming from yourself, Councillor Gani?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, let's have it.
Okay, so the update. First of all, we would like to thank the Royal Canadian Legion Executive for allowing the town to use their location to offer seniors programming. And while these classes won't begin immediately, given the recent increase in COVID cases, we are very grateful to the Legion for the use of their venue for the senior fitness classes, as are the seniors, I'm sure. So thank you to the Royal Canadian Legion for that partnership. The next item is the Crystal Carnival. So we were delighted last week to send out the Crystal Carnival flyer with a wonderful lineup of events, both in person and virtual. Given the low COVID numbers at that time, we were excited to offer some events that could be offered in person while still respecting public health guidelines. Of course, COVID has thrown a wrench into those plans, and given the recently identified clusters in the adjacent St. John's metro region, we had to revisit the schedule of events. 11 cases yesterday, 30 today, with more likely to come with identified community transmission. Out of respect for public health guidelines and to keep our residents safe, our in-person events will be canceled at this time. Some virtual events, such as the Chili Dash and the virtual trivia events, among others, will proceed. This information will be updated on our website, including events going ahead and those that are canceled or postponed. I, for one, and I'm sure among many, am very disappointed that we have to make this difficult decision, but it is necessary at this time. We do hope to reschedule the events that have to be canceled in the not too distant future, assuming our region sees reduced numbers of COVID infections and in keeping with public health guidelines. An event we were particularly looking forward to, the Crystal Dip, was going to support our local food bank and the Little Free Pantry, initiatives supported with generous amounts of time and energy by our residents. As we all know, the ocean remains close to freezing temps well into April, so we remain optimistic that this event and others will proceed at some point. The Recreation and Community Events Committee are committed to offering a variety of virtual events over the Crystal Carnival period, but may have to make changes as we move forward depending on COVID cases and public health measures that may be in place. That is the update on that, sir. Any questions?
Thank you, Councillor Gani. Any questions on the recreation and community events update? Okay, just obviously there was some really good work and great intent put into trying to kick Crystal Carnival off. Unfortunately, as Councillor Gani said, COVID has once again interrupted our plans. So I think everyone is in agreement that we did need to cancel the in-person events just to protect our citizens and our volunteers that would be helping out at those events. So fully support that decision, and hopefully we can continue some of those events later this year, or even keep them on the agenda for next year. So if no one else has any comments, we'll move to item B. Councillor Gani.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is a motion around Grand Concourse. So the motion is, be it resolved that the town of Holyrood become a member of the Grand Concourse Authority to further enhance trail development. And I do have some comments on that, but I'll keep them to unless anybody has questions right now or comments.
Okay, so that is moved by Councillor Gani. I'd like to have a seconder, please.
I'll second it, Councillor King.
Seconded by Councillor King. Anybody would like to have raise some points on this one?
I can speak to the intent of the motion.
Yeah, that'd be great, Councillor Gani. If you can just give us a little overview on kind of what this is meant to cover, that'd be good.
Perfect. So the purpose of the Grand Concourse is to foster, promote, and enable the design, development, and operation by or for the members of an integrated network of walkways, bicycle paths, and amenities on land owned or occupied by the members. So we've been looking into this for some time, and benefits to becoming a member of the Grand Concourse include access to trailway standards and maintenance planning. And by adhering to standards of the Grand Concourse Association, it lends credibility to trail planning and will support likelihood of success in any grant applications that are sought in building our trails throughout the community. And as Deputy Mayor Buckle likes to say, it's always better to get funding for these infrastructure pieces of work. It reduces the burden on the community. So we're always looking for funding for that purpose. We recognize that trail development has been a gap in our outdoor recreation offered in the town, and we look forward to the creation of new trails in our area and doing it in the right way by adhering to best practice and good standards that are outlined by the Grand Concourse Association. Sorry.
Thank you. Councillor Ganny, any other comments?
Yes, this is Councillor Myers. I just want to probably add another point to Councillor Ganny, that this is in no means taking the railway and turning it into a walking path. Because I know that people, when they hear Grand Concourse, they think right away CBS. They came in, they did the trail, and moved all motorized vehicles from that trail. This is not the intent of what we have. This is to help us with the other trails that we have around the community, and also increase this trail as well. But as far as we know, as of right now, it's still going to be motorized. There's no intent of taking motorized vehicles off the T railway.
That's a really great point, Councillor Mayette, and that would never happen without public consultation. Any changes in that, if there were to be any at all, would never be taken without public consultation.
Okay, thank you for that point of clarity, Roger. And I definitely agree. The Grand Concourse is a very interesting group of people who manage trails in the St. John's, Mount Pearl, Paradise, CBS area. When you're on a Grand Concourse trail, you know you're on a Grand Concourse trail, just due to the the high specification that they developed the trails to. So by us entering into this partnership with the Grand Concourse Authority, it'll allow us to have access to these standards and whatnot. And like Councillor Ganny said, it'll give us a lot more access to potential funding for trail development in our town. So if there's no more comments, we'll move that one to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And all those against? Motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor Ganny. Next is Business Development Marketing. Can we have the update from that committee, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Business Development Marketing. I got 2 points here this evening. The first point is our department has received several new business proposals. 2 of them are centered on tourism initiatives, and 1 related specifically to recreation. The proposals are being considered, and staff are working through the concepts with these proponents to ensure the application process is complete. Once completed, the applications will be forwarded to Planning and Development for further discussion before a recommendation will be brought to Council. The next one I got there is a trail master plan for the town has been approved, and a consultant team, Mills and Wright, have been recommended to our funders. Once they are approved by the funders, we will have them action the plan and establish consultation process with the community. These opportunities will allow residents to have a voice in where the trail system can occur and how the trail system can be implemented to benefit walkers, bikers, hikers, and others. We would encourage everyone to check our town website in the coming weeks to see how you can engage in the process. As we just talked about there back in recreation there, of the Grand Concourse and then trails, we've been working on this one. We've got some funding once again. We're taking advantage of some funding. And I think once we get this, and there's going to be the people in the community are going to be able to have their say in where we go with it and how we go about it. So I think this one, the Trail Master Plan for the town of Holyrood, is going to be it's going to be great news. It's going to be great for our residents. And so over the next, as I said, couple of weeks, if residents want to keep check on the website there so they can engage in the process. It'll be a great for, and then we hope lots of people get involved. The more information, the more feedback we can get, the better it will be. And that's the only 2 points for business development marketing. I'm not sure if anyone got any comments or any questions. No.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anybody have any comments they want to bring up?
Yeah, this is Kim. I would just like to say that I'm really excited about this trail master plan that's being initiated by the town. I think, we do have the one trail, which is the boardwalk and that area that's probably the most accessible for people who may have mobility issues. And other than that, our two main trails are fairly steep for your average walker. So I'm really excited to get this piece of work underway, and I would really encourage anybody who has an interest in trail development to please keep an eye and weigh in on this process, because the more people we hear from all the different perspectives, we'll be able to, that'll be the best plan that we can have, the more people that weigh in. So thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Ganny. Any more comments?
Mayor Costello, if everyone's done with their comments before you move on there, as I indicated earlier, I got to go to appointment there, so I'm going to have to leave the meeting there.
Okay. Is there any points, Deputy Mayor, you wanted to raise before you left, or are you all good?
No, I'm all good. The biggest thing is just everyone stay safe with the rise in cases over the last couple of days. Just stay safe and go by and listen to the Chief Medical Officer and her recommendations on how moving forward. And be safe, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and enjoy the rest of your evening now.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along. So item 10 is corporate services. Councillor King, can we have the bank book balance, please?
Your bank book balance is a minus $2,237.97. From the general account, be it resolved that accounts as tabled in the amount of $198,142.25, DO 1697 to DO 1729, and check number 41757 to 41849 be approved for payment from the general account. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by?
Councillor Ganny.
Seconded by Councillor Ganny. Further discussion on this one. Anybody have any questions or comments on this one? Okay, if there's no questions or comments, we'll move to the vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And anybody against? Motion is carried. Next, it's by-election. Councillor King?
So our next one is the by-election. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood hold a by-election to replace the vacant seat on council. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King. I need a seconder, please.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Seconded by Councillor Joy. Further discussion?
Well, can I speak?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. As chair of the finance committee, I feel is that in the best interest of our town to hold an election at this time. So I'm asking councillors if they would not support this motion. An election at this time, whether it be a by-election or a full election, it's going to cost the same amount of money, which is in the range of $10,000. And we only have a few months left until we're going to elect a new council. So even though we're one councillor short, I'm sure that if we all work together, we can still achieve what is best for Holyrood and save our money at this time. So.
Okay, thank you, Councillor King. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Councillor Joy.
Go ahead, Councillor Joy.
Yeah, I agree with what Councillor King has said. There is benefit. There would be benefit in the sense of filling the seat, but at this point in time, and with the cost that would be comparable to a full election, which we're going to have in September, I couldn't support, holding a by-election at this time. My comments, sir?
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
This is Councillor Myers. Same thing. I have the same feeling as well. Right now, as Councillor Joy just mentioned, that the cost for an election for one person is the same cost as an election for the full table of councillors. So in doing so, I don't support us going ahead and doing a by-election, especially now with the increase of COVID cases. It's not the time for people to be out and about. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mayesh. Councillor Ganny, did you try and chime in there?
Yep, I did. Thanks. I was, when we talk about this, I was very much in favor of having an election if it was affordable within the town budget. But I've thought a lot about it because I do feel that it would be important to fill that role, for a full complement of counselors, for, democracy's sake and all that kind of thing. However, given the cost and given the length of time it would take to even organize and plan an election for one individual, as well as the COVID concerns, I've changed my mind, and I'm more inclined to say that this is not a good idea at this time, and I don't support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Gani. So just a comment from myself, Gary. Just a question for the CAO: am I able to comment on this now? With I'm not in the mayor's chair, but I don't really know how I leave for procedure.
Can you comment on it? Probably should change the chair's seat to comment.
Okay. So the deputy mayor is gone.
Like a senior counselor.
So Councillor Joy, would you be interested in assuming the mayor's chair while I comment on this?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So obviously we've had some conversation on the by-election front. Completely appreciate the comments from my fellow councillors around cost and whatnot. When we did have the discussion previously, we weren't in a case where we had seen an exponential increase in COVID cases in a couple of days. However, that being said, I still think it would be very beneficial for our town to hold a by-election. And my reasons for saying that is because I can foresee a large turnover in council next term. And with that being said, I think it would really give a head start to the next council coming in if we were able to bring someone on now, get them 5 or 6 months of experience, and then hopefully they would stick around for the next election. So, I was hoping we were going to get to a point where we would agree on a by-election, but it doesn't seem that way. But nevertheless, those are my comments, and we can move to the vote. So I'm done commenting now. Councillor Joy, can I assume the seat again?
Yes, go ahead, Mayor.
Okay. So we'll move to a vote. So on the by-election, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So that was.
Sorry, that we're not supporting the motion that we have a by-election. Right?
No, your motion, Councillor King, is to hold a by-election.
And we're not supporting that. Is that my understanding?
Well, that's your own. That's what you got to vote on. But the way your motion is worded is, be it resolved that the town of Holyrood hold a by-election to replace the vacant seat. So
if people vote yes, then it means we have a by-election, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
all those in favor of the motion, aye. And all those against?
Nay.
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 Okay, so motion is defeated. Councillor King, are you doing the last one on donations, Councillor King?
Yes, I just got to get my agenda back here now.
Okay.
I lost it there for a minute. 1 second. Okay. Be it resolved that the town of Holyrood donate $100 to the Holyrood Little Free Pantry. And I think Councillor Gani has done a good job of explaining the Little Free Pantry. And I think it's a great help to a lot of people in Holyrood. So move for this motion. Got it?
Sorry, 2021 is continuing much like 2020. I'm on mute. Moved by Councillor King. I need a seconder, please.
I'll second the motion.
Councillor Myatt.
Seconded by Councillor Gani. Further discussion?
I'd like to just make a couple of comments, although you're probably tired of me talking about the Holyrood Free Pantry. But I think this is a really great donation. And I think however we as a town can support this initiative, I think it's important for us to do so. And I have some more comments later about this, but I fully support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Ganny. Anybody else have a comment? Okay, so if there's no more comments, we'll move to the vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And anybody against? Okay, motion is carried. So next, we'll move on to new business. We'll do the go around. I'm going to start with Councillor Mayette.
Just one thing for me. I just want to talk about the COVID. As everyone knows now that we've had a significant number of cases of COVID in the last few days. And in saying that, just reminding people to be very diligent of safety precautions and make sure they wash their hands as much as possible, carry hand sanitizer, and don't go out if you don't need to go out. It'd be nice if we were back to maybe a level 3, so that we actually curb this pretty quickly. But right now, it only seems that St. John's metro area, which I think ends at CBS, is actually back to household bubbles, and the rest of us are not. So in saying that, I just like to remind people to still take safety precautions in play, and to just make sure that everyone's safety is taken care of.
Thank you, Councillor Mayette. If that's all from yourself, we'll move to Councillor Joy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of points. As we see now, obviously that we're getting into more of the winter conditions, fair bit of snow in the last couple of days. So I just want to mention that our operators continue to do a great job with snow clearing and sanding our roads. Thanks to all the public works staff involved, certainly, and that's one of the areas of service, obviously, at this point in the year that that the residents are very dependent on, obviously. So, their operators are out early in the morning. They ensure, the first road throughs are cut, I guess. They widen the road, they sand the road, and overall they're doing a wonderful job. And I just want to say a big thank you again for that. I'd just like to note a lot of things that we talk about as part of infrastructure and public works. It's the improvement of services, and although I feel that public works has always done a very good job, rated very high in regard to clearing snow and sanding. We added this year a new loader to the fleet. And that, further allows us further to do, I guess, an improved job on our roads, maybe more effective and a little bit quicker. So, just another example of the things we discuss. And, we've talked about this loader for a while. And at this point in time, obviously, with snow levels, with real asset, to the Public Works Department. So just want to put a plug in there for that one. As we can see tonight, there's a lot of items, a lot of things, many positive items obviously happening in our town, and many things being worked on, and so on and so on. So big thank you to all. This depends on money and funding. We're not able to handle this. It's been referred to by the deputy mayor and so on. We wouldn't be able to handle this through our normal operating budget. So, it depends on getting funding and so on through, federal and provincial sources. So, thank you to our CAO, our Marjorie Gibbons, who does a great job on accessing funding and so on. So there's a lot of positives happening as we as we move ahead and move forward in the town. So just want to say that. And just to finish, I congratulate to Kevin again on taking the position of mayor. As I said earlier, I have every confidence that you will do a great job, and you will work with council staff, the CAO, obviously, and so on in regard to moving the town forward with all the positive things that are happening. So that's my couple of points, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Joy. Moving up the line, Councillor King, you got any comments?
No, I'm fine, Kevin. Thank you.
Okay, and Councillor Gani.
Thank you. I have a few points. I wanted to bring attention again to the Little Free Pantry Facebook group has grown to over 500 members. And there is now an additional location to support this wonderful initiative led by Charlotte Wade and supported by so many of our residents. This has been an eye-opener for many that there is a real need in this town. And I want to commend Charlotte for her community spirit and how she has inspired so many of us to give and support those in need of help in these difficult times. As I mentioned, the Crystal Dip, when able to proceed, will support both this initiative and the Holyrood Food Bank. But in the meantime, I would encourage those who have the means to do so to please consider supporting the Little Free Pantry or the Holyrood Food Bank. It means a lot to so many people. My second item is Teacher and Staff Appreciation. So February 8th to 12th is Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. And I'd like to highlight the efforts of our teachers, administration, and staff who tirelessly ensure schools operate in as close to a normal manner as possible during the pandemic, which has been the focus of the past year. We as a community value the important work that has gone on, and this is the designated week to express our appreciation, but it's every day we need to recognize that work. Challenges that are experienced by teachers and staff can be experienced in any year, but they have become amplified during the pandemic. Heightened cleaning measures, maintaining physical distancing of students, and managing those associated anxieties are all just part of those adjustments. Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week brings an opportunity to send thanks to those educators and support people at the heart of our communities and to appreciate those who provide support for education professionals in the community. So not only do we thank teachers and staff, we also send a heartfelt thanks to members of the community who donated to efforts to show appreciation to our teachers and staff during this week. And this is Holyrood and surrounding areas, the parents and staff that support all of the schools in the region. And we would be remiss not to thank former teachers on our own Town of Holyrood team who played a part in educating the people in our communities as well. So Sadie King, Gary Corbett, and Marjorie Gibbons, who all contributed immensely to the functioning of our town and have educated our people as well in the past. So a special thank you to those folks as well. And I have one final note, Mayor, if you will bear with me. With the snow and cold weather continuing to bear down on us, I'd like to remind all residents to please keep your pets inside and check under your hood before starting your car, as sometimes cold animals try to get in there to keep warm, and we wouldn't want a disaster to happen with one of our very little friends. That is it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Gani. Just to comment on the Little Red Pantry, it's amazing how much I guess interest and uptake there is in our community with that, and it's become almost like a focal point in our community with a lot of people using it, a lot of people donating to it. So it's also like to thank Mrs. Wade for taking that initiative on, and maybe we can grow it even a little bigger with some more community support. So with that in mind, just one more comment. I'd like to thank everyone for their kind words and support tonight as I moved into the mayor's position. As I said in my remarks, definitely looking forward to it, and it's definitely going to be a learning experience. So please have some patience as I get my feet wet, but I will try my best, and that's the best I can do and the most I can guarantee. So with that said, the date of the next meeting is March 2nd at 5:30. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
So we got to fight for this one, so we're going to give it to Councillor King. And I need a seconder.
I'll second the motion. Thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Gani. So thank you all for attending, and we will chat later on.